Sleep, to me, is one of the great enigmas of life. When Hashem created the world, so He created the plan. And He created every single one of the people in the world as part of that plan. As Chazal tell us, Zeh Sefer Toldos HaAdam, Hashem showed Adam Rishon, all the leaders of the generation, all the tzaddikim of the generation, all the Risham of the generation, and everyone in the entire generation, throughout all the generations of the world till the arrival of Mashiach. We see this, for example, it's well known that Hashem showed Adam Rishon the Neshamah, the soul of David HaMelech, and it only supposed to live for 3 hours, and then Adam gave it 70 years. And Hashem showed Adam, each and every person, what they're meant to accomplish, and ultimately how the whole world is supposed to exist. So we're all created with certain abilities and certain responsibilities to fulfill those, using our abilities, and ultimately a goal which we're supposed to reach to. So if so, why was I created that, depending on the person, some people sleep 12 hours a night, some people sleep 4 hours a night. The Rambam says you're supposed to sleep 8 hours a night. But why is I created that a significant portion of my life, probably the most significant portion of my life in terms of percentages, I'm unconscious, I'm comatose, I'm almost dead. Why does Hashem create sleep? If we're supposed to accomplish X amount, and we're supposed to live 80 years and sleep a quarter of it, so create me for 60 years, and I don't need to sleep. What was the purpose of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in creating sleep? So there's actually, Chazal discuss this. And there are a number of Mamarei Chazal, there are a number of statements in Chazal, which talk about this idea. And for example, there's, in the Zohar HaKadosh, it says the following. And the Zohar HaKadosh says, in the time when people are asleep, and they are tasting a taste of death, the Gemara says that sleep is 1/60th of being dead. Your body is not connected, is not working, you're not moving. Of course, you might thrash around in your sleep, but you're not doing anything conscious. The Neshama goes up to Shemayim when you're asleep. It stands in the place where it stands. It stands in some place up there in the heavenly realm. And it's tested on what it did all day. People are in school, there's testing. It's considered part of the educational process. Person has to know where they're holding. You're tested to see, not just to give you a grade. A good test is meant to bring out within you the knowledge in a way that you understand it. And therefore, at the end of every day, there's a test. The Neshama goes to Shemayim and is tested on what it did. Did you daven well? Were you nice to people? Did you learn? Did you waste time? Did you use time? Did you give tzedakah? What did you do? And the Neshama answers. And the end of the test, Kosman Osal Petek. It's written down on a note. Madua, why? Mishum she'neshama ola l'mal mi'ido ma'aseh adam v'kol dibur v'dibur sheyotzi mipiv. It goes up to the heaven every day and testifies what it did and every word that it spoke. Every single word that we spoke is recorded, is transcribed, is written down, and we sign on that transcription. And then, when we speak correctly, holy words of Tefillah and Torah, those words go up, all the way up through the different heavens, and stand there till the night comes. Meaning, if we are speaking Divrei Torah now, and these words go up to Shemayim, they go up all the way to the heaven, and they wait there. And when I go to sleep tonight, my Neshama goes up and finds those words waiting for him over there, and it takes them and it brings them in front of the king. And those are the words that it's tested on. But if we speak incorrect words, they also wait for me. And when the Neshama goes to sleep, when the person goes to sleep, the Neshama goes up, they're written down. And they're written down on the person itself. And therefore, it remains as an indelible mark. What does this mean? What can we understand from this? Sleep, in physical terms, sleep is the time when the body recharges itself. Physically, you need to sleep. Your body uses up its energy during the course of the day, and sleep is a resting state, obviously, where the body recharges. Psychologically, mentally, the same thing is true. There are different stages of sleep, and each one of them, the brain is accomplishing different things. Many neuropsychologists now understand, or think they understand, the different phases that the brain goes through as we're sleeping, and it, so to speak, recharges the brain. It also, as well known, people say it all the time, let me sleep on it. What does it mean, let me sleep on it? The answer is let my brain work on it in an unconscious way. We all know, we're all familiar, you get up in the morning, things that were bothering you yesterday don't. The physical world is a template, is a model for what's going on in the spiritual world. If in the physical world going to sleep is to recharge the different parts of ourselves, it's true also with the spiritual world. As we learned in Zohar Kadosh, we learned what Chazal tell us, that all of our actions during the day wait. And when our Neshamah goes up to Shemayim, goes up to heaven during the night, so then they're all waiting for the Neshamah up there. They're waiting for the soul. And they're all inscribed in our book. And obviously, at the end of 120 years, that book is the basis, is the evidence in our final decree of where we're going to be, what we've accomplished. So, if sleep in a physical sense is rejuvenation, so too in a spiritual sense. A person goes to sleep, as we said, Chazal tell us it's 1/60th of death. Well, if it's 1/60th of death, death is the separation of the body and the soul, the neshama and the guf. Sleep is on a lower level, on a microcosm, 1/60th of the same thing. And therefore our neshama goes up to Shemayim, and as I said, rejuvenates. Because, just as physically, we have a limited amount of strength, and we need to constantly replenish that strength. We need to eat, we need to drink, we therefore also need to sleep. Spiritually, the same thing is true. We have a certain amount of spiritual, so to speak, strength. We have a certain amount. In the course of the day, we expend it. And the Neshama, which is pure, which is holy, which originally came down from the heaven, came down from Shemayim, becomes entangled and enmeshed with all the physical things we did during the day. But it wants to be holy. We say every morning, at the beginning of the morning, we say, Elokai neshama shenasatabi, Tahorahi, Elokai, my God. The neshama, the soul that you gave me, Tahorahi, is pure. You gave it to me, you fashioned it, you formed it, you breathed it into me. So long as this neshama, the soul, is within me, I give thanks to you, Hashem. I praise you. I recognize what you gave me. And we end the bracha, Machazir neshamos lifgarim mesim. Hashem, who gives the neshama back to dead bodies. Because the neshama needs to recharge. The neshama needs to go up to Shemayim, to a place of spirituality, and reconnect, and rejuvenate itself, and refresh itself, so it can start the next day again. But, as we said, if a person did incorrect things during the day, it's met by those things. And it has to schlep, it has to drag those things along with it. And it has to sign that it did those things. How refreshed could such a neshama be? How rejuvenated could such a neshama be? But on the other end, if we did good things, the neshama of Shemayim has those things with it. And it writes them down, and it's brought back down to this world refreshed once again. That's what the neshama does. The Arizal Kadosh says, when a person is in this world and isn't involved in Torah, a person doesn't get themselves involved in Torah, so the neshama is starved. The neshama is hungry for kedusha, for holiness, for Torah, for tefillah, for mitzvos, and a person doesn't involve himself in that, the neshama is starved. And therefore the neshama, when the person goes to sleep, the neshama returns to a source of holiness, and it goes back to Hashem, and it benefits, it enjoys being connected to holiness, being connected to kedusha, being connected to ruchnius, to Hashem. And only then is it returned back down over here. The Arizal Kodesh says something fascinating. The Gemara says, Al korchocha ata notzar, you're created against your will. Says Arizal Kodesh, it's not just the original creation. Person who in this world does not use their neshama to serve Hashem, to do things of spiritual value, the neshama doesn't want to come back down. It goes back up to Shemayim. It's enjoying the splendor of Hashem's ruchnius. Hashem says, okay, time to get up. Your body down there is starting to get up. You need to go back. Says Hashem, no, I don't want to. Hashem says, you have no choice. You are created against your will. You have to go back down. So the neshama comes back. bearing though this new load of ruchnius to try once again, maybe this body that I'm in will use the day for ruchnius and not for gashmius. And maybe when I come up to Shemayim, I'll bring with me something beautiful. I'll already enjoy myself down over here. It's like, a master musician who has no choice but during the day to listen to all kinds of cacophonous sounds, all kinds of sounds that disturb it. He has to listen to people who don't know how to play music, trying to play and practicing, and it grates on his ears. All the screeching and yowling and whining. Imagine a master violinist who's teaching a child who every time they draw the bow across the strings, it's not a correct note, screeches. And he says, please, I need to go somewhere to listen to good music. And for a few minutes puts on the headphones and listens to some beautiful music. Says, okay, now I can go back to listen to my poor students attempt to create music. We all need that in Ruchnius. But if we make our day a day full of Ruchnius, the Neshamah wants to come back down. If we don't, it has to be forced to come back down here. And lastly, in the introduction that Reb Chaim Volozhin wrote to the first sefer printed about the Vilna Gaon, not just about the Vilna Gaon, but the first sefer of the writings of the Vilna Gaon that were printed after the Vilna Gaon's passing, his great student, Reb Chaim Volozhin, writes the following in the introduction. He says, the Vilna Gaon barely slept, 2 hours a night. He says, and even in the sleep of the Vilna Gaon, what was he doing? He wasn't doing what our Neshamah does. Wasn't going up to testify. It wasn't going up to connect to Ruchnius, because the Vilna Gaon was completely a spiritual person. It was going up to attach itself to another level of Ruchnius, another level of understanding, another level of spirituality, to bring it back down. Within the confines of a body, there's a limit to how much the soul is able to accomplish. When the soul during sleep is liberated from the body, its vastness of spirituality is unbound by the physical constraints of the body we're in. And therefore it receives all of that tremendous spiritual connection and knowledge, and then it brings it back down once again. For someone like the Vilna Gaon, sleep is not just testimony to what it did during the day. It's not just a rejuvenation and a relaxation period to come back down to this world. For sure, it's not connecting to spirituality so it can endure another day in the dross of what this world is. It's everything that was accomplished during the day is now accomplished on a higher level, untrammeled by the confines of physicality. And that's the highest level of what sleep is. So that is why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created sleep.